Okay, you're live, Mandy.
All right, thank you. Hello, I'm Mandy Guess with the Economic Development Department for the City of Las Cruces. And this morning we're scheduled for a public hearing for the Royal Crossing TID application. And to get us started, I'm actually going to hand it off to the mayor. So,
Okay, good morning. Thank you, Mandy. Good morning, everybody. I just would like to tell you that there's been a development that happened this morning. Due to the fact that I get a tremendous amount of, I get about 500 emails a day, and I try to set aside a certain time, 5 to 7 in the morning every day. There were some emails that I had received yesterday that I didn't get around to it till this morning. So I'd like to share with you those emails, and then you can see what the development is. So Sunday night, I got an email from Ashley Salt from Goldenrod Companies, the company that is working on the TID. And basically she asked, she said two things: the timing of the TID and where we are at things. In some discussions we've had, it's come up that there are some potential delays that are being thrown out again. We want to discuss everything with you. We want to make sure that you and the council are still on path for the August 17th formation resolution without implementing any deliberate delays. And two, any concerns or questions that aren't answered, I know the special work session will include city council members, county and city hired consultants. If there are things that we can answer beforehand, we would make things that we can answer beforehand that will make things go more smoothly. Zach is on a limited time frame on Tuesday, so hoping to get through to things in a timely manner, make sure everybody's questions are answered. So I responded yesterday morning. And I said, good evening, Ashley. Thank you for emailing me. It's fair to say that there have been some items that are concerning me. And these were the 5 questions. I said, number 1, while reading the county's assessment, they referred to 2 bonds, 2020 and 2022. I would like to know what these bonds would be used for. Second question, and then she said, there will only be 1 bond, and we agreed that it would not exceed 20 million. The monies can only be used for public improvements that are specifically stated in the development agreement. And then 2 says, I am becoming uncomfortable with a 25-year TID. I would prefer a 10-year or 15-year TID at the latest. Would you consider this? Her response was, a 10 or 15-year TID is not feasible, as we have to match the amortization period of the bonds to the number of the years of the TID. Number 3, I'm also becoming uncomfortable with the structure of the TID board. I'm leaning toward an all-city board. What do you think? Her response, no, we have agreed upon the board and have negotiated in length with the city. We are not comfortable making this kind of investment and not having any kind of say in the board. Number 4, I understand there was a discussion with County Assistant Manager Chuck McMahon. Could you please tell me the details of that discussion? I'm interested in the conversation specifically about O&M. Her response, we discussed with Chuck that the county would make their pro rata share of the bond payment and remaining monies would go to pay off the bond faster. None of the taxes or responsibilities in this area are the county's, i.e. none of these monies are going towards school, police, or fire, which the county pays for. So we thought this was a fair compromise. Since it is the city's job to take care of the maintenance and they would pay for it anyways, we thought it was appropriate for the city to be in longer on maintenance side of things. And then the last one, I said, I know Zach has mentioned that in 25 years, you all expect to see a $450 million infusion of buildings and any other infrastructure. What if we only expected 200 million in 10 or 15 years? A response, that would be the reason for a 25-year bond. If it doesn't build out fully over 10 years, then we need to collect the taxes over the time it's built in order to continue paying for it. The longer the amortization period on the bonds keeps the payment down so we can easily cover our annual carrying costs of the debt. As discussed, it's imperative that we stick to the timeline that has been set for quite some time now. We're still on target for the January 1, 2021 implementation date, but need to have everything to the state by the beginning of September. Please let me know if there's anything else you'd like to discuss at this time. And so Now, I hadn't really read her responses and until the following day. I was just reading to you what she responded. This morning, and if you remember, if you all know, even though you may have sent me an email, it's at the bottom. The ones that you just sent is going to be at the top. So when I'm going through my emails, I see an email from Zach Wiegert. It says, and it was, I read it this morning, but it was from yesterday. Mayor, I wanted to reach out to see if we could find some time for a quick call today, meaning Monday. Given the most recent communication we've received from the city, we are questioning whether the city really desires to have a project like what we're proposing. This would be a significant investment by us in Las Cruces, and given what appears to be a lack of cooperation from the city, we are also questioning whether making this type of investment in Las Cruces is in our best interest. We have spent significant time and money getting to this point, believing that the city's planning department was working with city officials and relying on everyone working in good faith to bring this development to fruition. It has now become apparent to us that we do not have all the parties working together trying to reach an agreement on the terms. If you do not want this development, we would like you to be transparent with us and let us know so that we can stop wasting our time and money trying to accommodate the city's changes, requests, etc. If you do want this development and are willing to work with us, we would like to have a frank discussion with you on how to make that happen. My team and I will make ourselves available this afternoon or first thing tomorrow morning to discuss if you would like. Thanks, Zach. So I responded to Zach this morning. I said, sorry, good morning, Zach. Sorry for not getting this email until now. I am impressed with your developments and proposals. I don't believe it's whether I want this TID or not. I'm doing my due diligence about this proposal. As I mentioned at the onset, this will be my first non-city TID. I sent my questions and concerns to Ashley. You can answer them to me here or in the work session if you like. I'm sorry, but these are reasonable questions and concerns. And so that's when Ashley responded. So now I'm responding to Ashley from the answers I've already given you. Good morning, Ashley. Thank you for your responses. I know I specifically asked about bonds being used because I mentioned a quote, pay as you go method, meaning as the projects are being constructed, I would support paying back the infrastructure costs with corresponding percentages. I believe both Zach and our city staff representatives said that no bonds were to be used. I'm sorry, but these responses coupled with Zach's terse email to me is questioning my ability to fully understand this project. Therefore, I am recommending that this proposal be tabled until 6 months from now as to fully study the mechanics of this TID. Shortly thereafter, Zach emails me, Mayor, we withdraw our TID application at this time. Please cancel our scheduled calls and working sessions going forward. As a leader of our company, I feel we have spent an inordinate amount of time and capital trying to build support for what we could have been a transformational project for Las Cruces. At this time, I feel our real estate investments are better focused in other markets where we are welcome and respected. I apologize to the city staff that have worked very hard to try and navigate this TID process with us. You all were a pleasure to work with. All the best, Zach Wiegert. So therefore, according to Mr. Wiegert, this application has been withdrawn. Therefore, there's no need for a public hearing. The work session this afternoon has been canceled. So I'm going to now turn it over to David Maestas, who has a couple words he'd like to say. David?
Good morning, Mayor, and thank you. David Maestas, Interim City Manager. First thing that I wanted to do, Mayor, was I wanted to thank staff for all the work that they have done through this entire process. As mentioned in your emails, there was quite a bit of work that has taken place, and there was quite a bit of diligence on their part. They did refer to several consultants, other areas, including the last request that council had. They were working on that and would have had some information from that consultant as well. So I really wanted to thank them for their work through this process. It was the first major TID of this type that we were looking into, so it was a learning process for them as well. I think they did a great job going through it and have set a foundation if we run into this again on something that we can look forward to working on with the input that was received from council. And with that, I would like to thank council for their involvement, the questions that they brought forward, some of the things that they asked us to look into and asked staff to delve into, aside from what they had already done. That again helps us when we look into an item like this in the future. So thank you to council and their input and their insight. I want to thank the developer who also was working with staff through this process and also worked with council and the community here recently to help us obtain answers for the questions that were brought forward. Thank you for their work. Thank you for their interest in Las Cruces. Again, it sets a foundation for us as we move forward. So thank you for them. And who knows, we may see something like this at some other time in the near future. And then lastly, thank you to the community. The community also brought forward many ideas, great insight as well. They brought up some questions that helped us to look into this type of a situations, type of a request to help make us better for those type of items as we move forward. Thank you for the community showing how much they care about Las Cruces and what Las Cruces means to them and what development in Las Cruces, what the impact has for them and what their benefits would be if we can put something like this in place later on. So thank you to everybody who was involved. It was a significant endeavor for quite some time and quite some process. So I really appreciate the effort that everybody put in. Thank you for the time, Mayor. I appreciate that. Mandy, is there anything, Mayor, if there's anything that you have, if not, Mandy, is there anything that you have in closure for the public meeting itself?
No, thank you, Mayor, and thank you, David. Thank you to our community who was here and prepared to speak. But with the changes and the developments, we'll actually close this public hearing. We won't have to take up more time for those comments because we don't need them because the application has been withdrawn. So again, I would just like to end with a thank you, and then we can close the meeting.
Okay, thank you, Mandy. Again, as sentiments that you heard from our interim city manager, David Maestas, thanks for all those accolades, everyone. We're sorry that it wasn't able to move forward. Again, I think it was something there that was, this is something new to Las Cruces, and I think there was a lot of concern just trying to get our hands around it. And I think if the timeline had been a little bit longer, we may be able to get some information gathered better, but nonetheless, we recognize and respect Mr. Wiegert's withdrawal, and we wish him the best in his future endeavors. We're very, of course, he still has a large investment here right now, this $50 or $60 million hospital, so we thank him for that and look forward to working with him on any other projects he may have in that particular area. So with that, again, thank you for everyone's involvement, and we'll be closing the meeting now.